அது மற்றபடி அடிக்கிறதுக்காக வைத்திருக்கவும் கூடாது, சட்டப்படியும் வைக்கக்கூடாது, காவல் நிலையத்திலேயே வைக்கக்கூடாது.
மத்தியானம் சாப்பிடலையா? Come on, join immediately. அதனால பூஜை மட்டும் கண்டிப்பா பூஜை போகணும்.
ஐம்பத்தி ரெண்டு பேர் இருந்திருக்காங்க. இது பாஸ்கோடு வேணாக்கா, அப்படியே டச் பண்ணி உள்ள போங்கக்கா. கேட்கல. ம்.
Hey, people can hear me? Just checking if I'm audible or not.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sisters.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I don't know why, due
sir.
to some reason, my main screen is not working. So I just have to come to my laptop camera. So yeah, due to some, but I'm fine. I'm all good.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Shall we wait, sir? Shall we wait few minutes?
Okay, fine.
Good afternoon to one and all. Sister, shall we start?
You shall start, but your audio doesn't seem to be good.
Sister?
You can start, Ma.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sister. Okay. Priscilla?
Yes, ma'am. A fabulous good afternoon to one and all present here. It's my great delight to welcome each and every one of you to this international webinar on education making a difference in this pandemic era. And it's my honor to say that this
Priscilla?
event is organized.
Priscilla, your camera you need to change. It's upside down.
Just flip your phone.
Priscilla, kindly check your mobile. Check the position.
Ma'am, I came in my laptop, ma'am.
Go ahead.
And it's my honor to say that this event is organized by our ICA management in commemoration of International Day of Education. Once again, a hearty welcome to one and all gathered here. Prayer is a mighty weapon which energizes the heart and moves the spirit within us. Prayer is just feeling the presence of God among us. So I request everyone to close your eyes for a moment and invoke God's blessings.
Hear our prayer. We are your children, and we've gathered here today. We've gathered here to pray. Hear our cry. Oh Lord, we need your mercy, and we need your grace today. Hear us as we pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Our Father, hear us from heaven.
அதாவது யாருக்கும் தெரியலன்னா மற்றவங்க கூட ஜாயின் பண்ணி
We pray. Hear our song as it rises to heaven. May your glory fill the earth as the waters cover the sea. See our hearts and remove anything that is standing in the way of coming to you today. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Our Father,
The beauty of welcoming lies in the joy felt at the soul when you welcome others. Welcoming is an art written from the heart. Now I call upon Ms. V. N. Ragapriya, prospective teacher, to encompass us all with her warm words of welcome.
Smile is a universal welcome. With a face full of smile, I would like to welcome those who believe in the power of dream and very eager to pursue them. A very warm good afternoon to one and all gathered here. It's my great honor to welcome you all to this international webinar on the topic Education Making a Difference in this Pandemic Era. First and foremost, I would like to welcome our ever-loving secretary, Reverend Sister A. Gemma, who constantly support us in all our activities. Welcome, Sister. It's my great privilege to welcome our charming principal, Reverend Sister Dr. L. Vasanthi Madonna, who always creates an opportunity for us to excel in all our ways. Welcome you, Sister. It's my great delight to welcome our energetic resource person, Mr. D. Krayasini, founder, LIA Foundation, Positive Influencer. On behalf of our ICM management, I welcome you, sir. I would like to welcome the organized committee, Dr. J. Maria Prema, YEMET Coordinator and Assistant Professor of Education, Dr. A. J. Sudha, Vice Principal and Assistant Professor of History. Welcome you, Madam. I also extend my hearty welcome to Reverend Sister Dr. A. Nirmala Devi, former Principal and Assistant Professor of Education, Dr. E. C. Punita, Dean and Associate Professor of English, Dr. M. Maria Saroja, Research Director, IQAC Coordinator and Associate Professor of Biological Science, Dr. N. Tarashita Shanti, Controller of Examination and Assistant Professor of Physical Science, Dr. R. Indra Mary L. Selvi, Assistant Professor of Psychology, Dr. S. Josephine, Director of Physical Education, Dr. P. John Rose, Librarian, and sisters from ICM Management and all the teaching faculties of our college. I also extend my hearty welcome to the participants from other colleges and universities and other institutions. Last but not least, I welcome the young minds who are ready to listen to this session with a whole heart. Well begin is half done. With this well beginning, I once again welcome you all to this wonderful meet.
Thank you, Ms. Ragapriya, for your cheerful welcome. Wherever you go, no matter what the weather it is, bring your own sunshine. Here is one such gem of a person, the sunshine of a college, and I request our beloved secretary, Reverend Sister A. Gemma, to felicitate the gathering.
Respected Sister Principal, Sister Vasanthi Madonna, all their professors, our resource person, and my dear students. Today's webinar is apt for the situation. COVID-19 pandemic has made all the educational institutions, both schools and colleges, adapt teaching online. Courses are conducted online. Examinations are conducted online. Assignments are submitted online. For countries like India, it is a good opportunity to strengthen internet connectivity across the rural India. Every town and village in India should be digitally connected for better interaction between the students and teachers. The institute like IIT has a sort of infrastructure to connect the students. Some students are very fast, very quick in adapt the system. Some take a little longer time to acquaint with the system. We hope India will establish an infrastructure for online education. The greatest advantage of the system is education can become global. Academic programs are popularized to attract the students. This may create a future entrepreneurs. Innovative models can be introduced. Our students, teachers have already acquainted with online classes, they may carry them out in their profession in the future. I wish this international webinar throw more light on that subject we have taken today and motivate our student teachers for the future. God's blessings. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, dear sister. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. And I'd say that this quote suits better for a dear principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Vasanti Madonna, who always motivates and takes care of us in a special way. Now we request our beloved principal to deliver the keynote address.
Dear and respected Reverend Sister Gemma, the Secretary of our college, dear professors, Mr. Deek Parashani, founder, LAAP Foundation, positive influencer, and regional sales manager for Middle East and South Asia, the resource person of this international webinar, dear Dr. Maria Prema, Assistant Professor of Education, and Dr. J. Sudha, Vice Principal and Assistant Professor of History, the organizing secretaries of the international webinar, research scholars, and my dear students. A very good afternoon to each of you gathered in this virtual platform. I feel in this present context of COVID and Omicron reality, this international webinar on education making a difference in this pandemic era is an apt theme to be probed into, to be discussed and reflected upon. As we live in a world of uncertainties, not knowing what the future would be, the COVID and Omicron waves continue to threaten the entire humanity across the globe. Amidst people losing their lives and others losing their job and educational opportunities, there are manifold innovations continue to emerge in the field of education to respond to the educational demands of the people. This COVID and Omicron reality have created new modes of teaching and learning experiences for the students across the globe. And the emergence of innovative practices and technological assistance in teaching, learning have created new ways of learning experiences for the students, right from the child who begins his or her education till the one who does his or her higher studies, research, and innovations. At the same time, the Omicron and COVID crisis has led to worsening educational disparities by reducing educational opportunities for many of the most vulnerable children, youth, and adults, those living in the poor or rural areas, girls, refugees, persons with disabilities, and forcibly displaced persons to continue their learning. This widening of gaps between the haves and have-nots becomes the biggest query challenging the future existence of the human beings on the earth. Amidst all these existential realities, this international webinar on education making a difference in this pandemic era would certainly enlighten all the participants towards proactive thinking and effective participation in the development of education. I appreciate Dr. Maria Prema and Dr. J. Sudha, the organizing secretaries of the day, for choosing the theme, Education Making a Difference in the Pandemic Era. for this international webinar, and I wish best wishes for Mr. Deek Parasini, the resource person of the day, who would be enlightening us as he leads us into the recent techno-savvy world with innovations in educational arena. I wish each of you, dear professors, scholars, and prospective teachers, a great day of information and enlightenment. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, dear sister. It is a bliss when people with great heart come into our lives, and it is always better to know the goodness in them. Now I request Dr. J. Maria Prema, MEd Coordinator and Assistant Professor of Education, to say a few words about our resource person.
Good afternoon, Momindor. Another here. Dick Barasini is on a mission to make positivity for all, and he believes that life is all positive and negativity doesn't exist. Give me a minute for him and he will prove it to you. He is the founder of Life. Life is all positive. The volunteer-based humanitarian, non-religious and non-political organization with a mission to make a world filled with positivity. We are all born positive, so there is positivity within each of us. And this community is created to make people realize this positivity. Over 500,000 members in his social media community and 11,000 members in his life is all positive WhatsApp group and still growing. His 20 years of work experience in marketing, psychology gives him a wide spanning experience to draw from. He is working as a regional sales manager, Middle East and South Asia, which balances very well with his mission. So he declined all promotions and job changes as his mission and become more important than his career. He has completed Bachelor of Science in USA, MBA from Birla Institute of Technology, India, and then MSc in Business Psychology in UK. Dick is very passionate, energetic, and frank in his interactions. He has talked to thousands of people of various age groups and touched their lives with positivity. The majority of his session is in question answer session format, as he believes that whatever motivation is given to people, if their core problems and doubts are not solved, motivation is no help. He understands the core and provides a positive solutions that shift their life in a positive direction and shows them how to be self-motivated. As he always says, meet once, clear all your doubts, and forget me. This is a special quote given by him. All his sessions that he does is as given back to community. Today we are getting an opportunity to interact with G directly. This is more of a question and answer session where you have asked your doubts about anything, relationship, career, education, your dreams, your goals, etc. So feel free to ask all your doubts and get it clear. Please join me in welcoming Dick Parasini with a round applause. Welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to come in front of this team of people. Thank you, to the principal of the college and everyone supporting into making this application, this event in the best possible way. So now we are talking about education, we are talking about technology, we are talking all of that. But now see, look at me. I was planning out a session on standing. This is the first session I'm going to do sitting, because actually I have a screen behind. If you really look at it, that's how it has to be. Education making a difference. So that's my screen, and I have a different recording there going on. But unfortunately, when I came live, it stopped working. So things like this will always happen. So first thing in the social media of life, or in the social media, when you're taking of education, when you're figuring out with IT, so many things will happen. And we are all human. And as humans, we all make mistakes. There's a learning experience in every walk of life. So, but make sure we have a backup plan. Most of us, when we are starting any plan or any actions, we sometimes don't have a backup plan. We have all our expectation on a certain way we want to do it. And we go and put all the eggs in that one basket, and we try to achieve it in some form or the other. What if the basket fell off from your hand? Do you have another basket or an egg to hold on to? Most of you don't have. So for example, you're teaching in an education on a virtual thing, your camera went off, or your sound is not working, or it all happens, because IT is beyond your control, your network is weak. So all these things do happen in life. So make sure you all have a backup plan, because if you don't have that, the chances are anxiety will step in. That's why I tell people the main reason for anxiety is you don't have a proper plan. If you have a proper plan, there is never an anxious thing ever coming into your life. So just a tip, just to show my real life example that how IT and the system and the technology can work against you. People might laugh at you, but what I do is when you make a mistake, accept it and show to the world that you made a mistake, so that everything is fair and square. Because many people, other issues most teachers in education get through is they sometimes hesitate from accepting their mistake. So it's always good to accept, because then what children and students will begin to believe that you're normal. You're not a teacher. We all make mistakes. So one mode of communication, social media, is be frank and tell there's a problem, or tell we are working on it. So I see a great system, what you guys, our YouTube was not working. So you said, yes, we are working on it. New link came in. I shared it to all my platform. So that's how it's a teamwork. It's not the teacher's responsibility. It's not the student's responsibility. It's us in the mode of getting education, which is more important. And when us is thought about, you won't make fun of anyone. You don't see someone fail. It is we winning or we losing. So once you start bringing that thought process, and if teachers, once you start bringing that process, automatically, naturally, the education starts much more easier, right? So I don't know how many of you know me. Like just 1 hour ago, I was having a 2-hour session with another college in Kannur, in Coimbatore. So there we were talking about the girls' National Girl Day Child. Today is the day for that, and we talked about girls versus boy, men versus woman. Dominant male. How do you figure that out? Injustice which girls go through. All these things were discussed basically, and so that was a set of. It was all girls school. So I was talking for 2 hours there. So maybe my throat might be lightly weak because I've been talking for 2 hours. I had a 1 hour break, and I'm coming here and talking with you people. So I don't know how many of you know me, and I don't know how many of you have been in my session. I'm a person who believes that life is all positive. Negativity doesn't exist. Frustration, depression, irritation, anger, all these things are created. That's what I believe, because God created all us as a baby. Baby in the sense means baby is never moved off. Baby is never frustrated. Baby is never depressed. That's how God has created us. What I don't understand, why does people become adult in the process? Right? So I would say, live like a baby. You're born as a baby, so live like a baby and die like a baby. That's what I strongly believe by, because life becomes easy when you start living like a baby. Even education, because I've done sessions for teachers, principals, HODs. I've done sessions for 5th grade student to 60-year-old group of adults. So I've done sessions for all platform. Rather than me talking about the education, okay, so if there is any, let me start interacting with people, right? What I tell people is, you can ask me any question from birth to death. Let's focus on the topic. And once you're done with the topic, if you have any other questions related to it, you have to ask it. What I tell people is meet me once, clear all your doubts and forget me, because you don't need to know who I am. You don't need to know that. Just get the answers which you're looking for and forget me after that. Because what I really want people is to be self-motivated. What I really want people is to be better teachers. What I really want people is to understand their life. And once they figure out, they don't need me or any other motivational speaker or anyone, any motivational book also. What people are doing right now, why are you in this session? To get some knowledge or to get some motivation to get it. But if you've figured out your life and if you know where are the areas you need to grow, you don't need me in general if you really look at it. And that's the beauty of life. Life is the greatest teacher we can have. But how many of you really look life as your teacher? Very few. All right. So let's come back to the topic. First thing I really want is you can directly interrupt and ask me questions. Just raise your hand. I will call your name and I can ask anything with regards to COVID, pandemic, or anything specific to the National Day. If you want it, feel free to ask. Don't miss this opportunity, because don't ask me one question, how I'm answering the question, anything else you can ask me, right? So that's one part. But since you all need a preparation for asking questions, so I'll start with the topic itself. Now, there's two factors here. One is education and one is pandemic. Now, I don't know how many, if there are youth in here, how many of you think that the Indian education is not good? I really want to have that. Raise your hand. You have the raising hand option to my knowledge. If you have that, raise your hand and tell me how many of you think that the Indian education is not good or is crappy or, you know, it's not going to give us a good future. No one will respond? No, try it. See, is there a raising hand option? Yes, no? Yes, you have the reactions, right? Yeah, I have the raise hand option. You can see the raise hand option, which I'm raising. So if you go to reactions, you have a raise hand option. So you can lower your hand, you raise your hand. Because I need to interact with all you people, right? And that's my objective. So that I can talk with you, I can interact with you. If you want to come on video, feel free to come on video. But how many of you think that thumbs up means your Indian education is good? Okay, how many of you think that Indian education is not good for the current students and is not helping? It's completely a waste of time. We should not be educated. We should be, you know, just, you know, going and doing what we want to do, open up a business, start a business the shortest way. Because today's most of the youth, when I go and give sessions to public session, everyone raises their hand and says that I'm wasting my life educating in schools and colleges. That's the reality. And that's the mindset most of the youth have. And many people are not raising their hand. I don't know why, but when I've done my sessions, I see 70% of students just raising their hand and saying that education, there you go. Finally, the first Divya Prab is raising the hand saying it's not worth it. See, there's nothing to hide. That is the reality of life. And that's what the youth is thinking. So first, let me clarify why Indian education is right. Thank you, Divya Prabha, for motivating me, for raising your hand and standing by what you strongly believe. Let me clarify that first, because the biggest doubt most of the youth have is, why am I doing education? The other question you have is, why I have to study all the subjects when I'm good at one? That's the other doubt you have. Why are these, why I have to, if I'm very good at mathematics, why I have to study science and all that thing? So let me clearly tell you how the Indian education is designed. I've done Indian, I've done UK, I've done US. These are three types of educations which I've done. So let me tell you how Indian education is properly designed. The power of Indian education is it teaches you everything so that you have the wisdom to select what is right for you. That is the biggest secret of Indian education compared to every other education. So what happens is you go in your schooling, you learn everything. When you reach 9th and 10th, you choose your stream. You want science or commerce. You study everything so you have the wisdom to choose you want science or commerce. When you select science, then you go more detail. Is it mechanical? Is it aeronautical? Is it civil? You learn everything so you have the wisdom to select which I'm good at. Only if you know everything, you can select what you're good at. And that is how the biggest problem in Indian education is not the Indian education. It is when parents intervene into the education saying that, no, I want my son to be civil when he's interested in engineering. So that is where most of the Indian education flaws, when parents start intervening into that. So first point is Indian education is beautifully designed. Accept the fact. Second thing is you say, no, sir, all the great people are saying that Indian education needs to change. If you look at any CEOs, let it be Google CEO, Microsoft CEO, you look at any of the greatest CEOs sitting, everyone has come from the Indian education. Everyone is after the Indian engineers. Everyone is after the Indian doctors. Is there a flaw with the Indian education? Think about it. But what most of the people are trying to do, this is my gut feeling, I can be wrong. Everyone knows that India is going to be very, very powerful in the next future time. So the only way to slow down the Indian process is to question Indians itself. Is our Indian education worthy or not? So what people are doing, or the great people are doing, is slowly pitching that don't study, drop out, get out of life, get out of education, start up your own startup. If you know that 90% of the startups fail. So if we have a college of 100 students, and out of that 50% get influenced by all these great motivation speakers, or the great CEOs telling that, oh, don't do education, get into business, make money. 50% drops out of education. Out of that, 90% of the percentages are going to fail. So just look at the calculation. How many children are spoiling their life dropping out of education? Right? So the first thing what I tell people is, you have started your education, make sure you complete it. Figure out some ways to complete it, at least pass through, because it gives you the mental strength. So the other thing is, when you can study everything, your mind is at a different wavelength. When you can study everything which is in your syllabus, your mind have the capacity to hold on that much information, rather than just picking one thing. There are many people who go after one thing and finally lose it out. So what you got to understand, the value and the power which the Indian education has. So please don't get out of it, and please don't drop out of it, because I'm telling you, if you study and if you study well, I'm telling you, no one can stop you from growing. That is point number one. Second thing about education is, next question I ask everyone, even teachers and everyone, are you a good student? If you're a good student, it doesn't matter where you do your education, who teaches you, who your principal is, who your teachers are. If you are a good student, you will study and you will make that impact which you need to make. Many people don't know why they are studying. I get these common questions from youth that why we have to study. I don't get motivation from studies. If you really genuinely know why are you studying, you'll be automatically motivated to study. So that is the first thing is, are you a good student? If you're a good student, now let me step in the pandemic side of things. If you're a good student, even the pandemic hits you, what difference will it really make? Think about it, right? So if you really look at it, is what difference does it make? If you're in school, if you're at your home, if you're somewhere outside and you have a book which you need to study, which is of most of interest to you, you are going to study with all the motivation you have. Simple question is, you are watching your movie of your most favorite actor 3 hours without any concentration, you are going to watch that movie. Most of you do, right? So think about it from that point of view of how many of you genuinely want to study and genuinely want to make an impact. Because if you don't have that genuine feel towards studying, you're going to find every reason to blame COVID, every reason to blame that I don't have that platform, every reason to blame that life is not fair to me, every reason to complain that, I can't study because of COVID, I have the mental issues and all that thing. Now, the bigger issue with education is again not the education, it is what problems you have which is bigger than the educations. For example, 70% of the girls and boys who come to me with a problem comes with a breakup issue or a relationship issue. Boyfriend, girlfriend, lover. This is where most of the problems are facing. So however you don't figure that out, or if you don't know how to get out of it, whatever you try in life, you can't study because your problem is much more bigger than the studies which you have to do. So the problem with education is kids or students have much more bigger thing to do than the education, which is love, which is the parents' issue. So 30% of the problems which girls and boys come to me is parents fighting or parents' issues or parents' concerns which they have with regards to the children and the pressure which they give them. So these are the two main problems which the youth goes through, and they don't have the solutions to it. And we as teachers or organization trying to push them with concentration, do this training, do that, their problem is much more bigger. And they will never be, and the flow of education will never happen until their love or the relationship issues fixed, until the parents' issues are fixed, until they find a solution to get out of it. So most of the barriers of the Indian education is sitting with the family and the kids' relationship with the outsiders, and they don't have the strength to fight for it or stand by it to make an impact to that life, to their life. At the end of the day, if you need to study or grow, you need a mental strength. And most of that mental strength is either broken by these relationships, which is not needed for them, or is broken by these parents' issues which the kids go through. That's the other point which I want to share. See, I'm sharing these points not because I want to share it with you. I'm sharing you these points so different questions get triggered into your mind. Last session, I didn't even talk anything. The kids already knew me. I did a previous session for them. So they directly went with very hard questions with regards to the special day which you're having today, right? So feel free, just raise your hand. I will call your name. You can interrupt me anytime to ask me any questions, with that regards. Now, stepping into the pandemic side of things. Many people are losing their jobs. Many people are losing life. My question to everyone is very, very simple. Is why is that people losing job and not the person who's having a job? So there's two sides of people. One is keeping the job and one is losing the job. So you got to be very, very careful why this person is losing job and this person not losing the job. Right now, everyone's focus is he's losing. But who's staying? And what are they doing different, which is making them stay there? Maybe this person didn't do that difference, which is making them stay there. So the question you got to ask is, how are some people still staying in job and how is other people losing their job? And how these people are staying? If the losing people did the same thing what the staying people were doing, maybe they might not lose the job. Someone else might lose the job. So that's the one thing which you got to really think about. We are trying to blame someone else for some wrong things which is happening to me. But then my question to you is, that's how God works, right? What I tell people is every tear which falls out of your eyes is something life trying to teach you, or God or life or universe trying to teach you. If you learn that lesson, the tear will stop. But if you don't learn that lesson, you'll keep repeating again and again. Now, for example, the pandemic happened, you lose your job, then you work, you get another job. After 10 years, another pandemic is going to come. What is your plan? You still don't have a plan. Again, you're going to lose your job. Again, you don't realize the mistake. So many businesses are there. For greed, they take a lot of loans in order to grow their business superficially. All are getting broken now because you went after things which you're not truly worthy of. And when you go after things which you're truly not worthy of, life starts hitting you back also, right? Yes, pandemic is difficult, right? And many people are losing life. So that is why one kid asked me in a previous session, sir, many people are losing their parents because of the COVID situation. How are you going to support them? I said, I will take care of them, not a problem. Whoever comes to me, I'll figure out and tell them what to do. But what if your parent is going to die tomorrow? What's your plan? She said nothing. So you are also, what you got to learn from here is senior people are losing their life. Senior people, because of the COVID, some crisis can happen, which is beyond our control. Do you have a plan for it? Because if you don't have a plan for it, this pandemic is going to just work against you. The other thing of pandemic, I get questions is, sir, it's pandemic. You stay home for a long time. Then suddenly you go to the college. And then right now you are you in a college setup or all are at home now? Home or college? Okay, I think most of you virtual, so I assume you would be at home. Yes, ma'am? At home. I'm sure 50% of you would be sitting in the bed like this and relaxing and listening to the show, lying down and listening to my talk in their own way. What you don't understand is you're locked down for the last 2 years. your habit of studying is also going to get lost. So once you go back into in classroom, you can't sit and properly study. So if you're at your home right now, get a table and a chair and sit in front of the table and chair and get accustomed to the classroom setting, or the classroom setting which you go through, and see it from that point of view. Because I'll tell you, the biggest challenge you're going to have is you lying in the bed and listening to all your professors talking and teachers. So all your teachers, working on, all you sitting on tables and beds and listening to it. The biggest challenge you'll have is you can't sit on a chair next time while studying. Your mind will always think bed, 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 bed. I need to lie down, lie down, lie down, and work it out from there, right? So do I go on talking or ask any question? You just have to raise your hand and ask any question. My session gets very, very interesting if you ask me questions. If you make me talk, it will start getting boring. Now, the other thing is how I go based on questions. I can go on talking on this topic and give you various points about teaching, about teachers, about the social ways of communicating with people. Like my virtual sessions, minimum goes 1.5 hours and 2 hours if you start asking questions. If you don't ask, you just make my life easy at the end, right? And people who are running the YouTube, have a look at it. Maybe they might have some questions, so someone within your team can have a look at it and work it out. 3 ways I take questions. 1, my priority is whoever comes on video and audio, I give first priority to. The second priority I give is audio. Third priority is what I do is chat, right? That's how I go, because I had to give fairity to everyone so that they are taking that initiative. Now, many people tell me, even today's morning session, I gave this session too. Why are everyone shy to come on video? I don't know that. Somewhere around you feel complex. Somewhere around you think your background is not right. Somewhere around you think that, how am I looking? Somewhere around you think that what other people are going to think, and you just don't switch on your camera. But what you don't understand is, now see, Jacqueline has switched on a camera. She loves herself, and it doesn't matter for her what other people are going to think. Now, for example, I'm spoiling my hair. See, in front of you, I'm spoiling my hair. I'm wearing a jacket like this. I'm going to talk here for the next 5 minutes like this. I don't care what you people think about. I don't care, because I know who I am. I love myself. So what I tell people is, when you're on social, or when you're having an opportunity to show yourself to this world, let people see you. Why are you shying away from that? Many people shy away from that. And what happens there is, you yourself create a complex within your heart. You yourself think that I'm not worthy to be looked at. Whoever's not coming on your video, you yourself is saying, I'm not worthy to be looked at. And that is what I'm not saying switch it on, but what I'm trying to say is, that is why the complex, right? Because when you have the complex, no one can help you anyways. So that was today's morning session, same thing happened. I called up like 5, 6, 7 girls came on camera, and one girl asked me a question, sir, there is no equality between, girls don't get the first priority. Normally men get the first priority. So I went and asked the child, why can't you come on camera? You have the sir and me, the whole show on camera, and you never even bothered to come on camera. How can I even give you the first opportunity when you yourself are shying away? Many people are saying, sir, I don't have the opportunity. Now, it's not my event. In future, you're going to have much more events in future. So maybe your job opportunity is sitting with that person who's there. And if you ask the right question, maybe he might give you a job. All these, what you don't understand, when you have speakers like me or future speakers coming in, it is a job opportunity for you. If you ask the right question, the guy will remember you. And if they remember you, you go to LinkedIn and tap in, sir, I ask these questions to you. It's an opportunity for me. Is there any way I can work free for you? Which guy won't say yes? So all these virtual things which you're participating to you is your option to come in, because on stage, there are very few people who can ask. Here, you can literally show your existence to a group of people, to a group of new set of people. So indirectly, you are setting yourself. Now, for example, in your college, there might be placement. And this speaker is coming from that placement organization. You ask the right 10, 15 questions, he will not forget you. And when you go for the interview, he sees you, you apply, you are there already set to get the job which you're going to get into. Right? So don't miss these opportunities. Many problem with the youth have right now is not asking. Even teachers also, right? They hesitate. Like I still remember, when I do for teachers sessions, I really love doing sessions for teachers because, they ask me 2-3 challenging questions first to see how I'm going to answer. Feel free to ask me any question with educations. What are the education issues? What are the communication gaps which you go through? I'll put different questions into your head so you can ask me those related questions. Children don't switch on their camera, or or how do I communicate well in front of social media, or how do I have that free interaction? Can I make it more interesting for students? So feel free to ask all these questions. There are teachers, there are future teachers who want to be teachers. Why are you in the teaching field, right? That's what I do sessions for teachers. I found out that right now most of the teachers are in the teaching job because they didn't get any other job. That's what I strongly believe, right? And genuinely, they don't want teachers. I'm getting salary being a teacher, so I'll get into teaching and get that salary. Those teachers are not anyways good for the society anyways, because they're not really going to impact the children's the way it is, right? So feel free to raise your hand, or if your camera, you can just switch on your camera and come on and ask me a question, but ask so that I can give you the reply and clarify it in the best possible way. Okay. So I'm getting a question, how to tackle the gender discrimination at home. Now, when you talk about gender discrimination, again, it's male versus female. I know this question is going to come anyways. And so let me look at it from this point of view. When you say gender discrimination, you are saying girls versus boys, men versus women. When you start seeing that comparison, you're losing the battle anyways. So the first point is, I tell all women, if there's most of you, seems like there's a lot of women in this session, when you come into this world, and whoever sent you this world, I have no idea, whoever sent you this world, when you leave this world, they are going to ask you only one simple question. Did you do 100% justice to the role which was given to you? Which means, if you're a lady, were you the best daughter? Were you the best teacher? Were you the best wife? Were you the best grandparent? Were you the best mother? These are the questions God or universe or whoever sent you this world is going to ask you when he leaves you. He's never going to ask what your husband did. He's never going to ask what your son did. He's never going to ask what the society did. He's not going to ask that. His question would be he or she, whoever it is, his question would be very simple. What did you do? And did you do the best justice to that role which was given by me? If your answer is yes, you're in the right books in the eyes of God or universe or whoever it is. That is the first point. Second thing, when you say discrimination, you yourself having this guilty feeling that I'm compromising, I'm being misused, am I being played around, and people are not giving me a fair appreciation for what I'm doing. Discrimination only comes when you're expecting a certain level of appreciation from people which you're not getting. For example, when you cooked a great food, let's say for example, and your husband or your children didn't say a good compliment to that. But on the other hand, a father goes and cooks a very dumb food. The children say, whoa, wow, that is one of the best food I ever had. So there what happens is somewhere around you tend to think that a discrimination is happening between a man and a woman. But the first question I always ask is, why compare yourself with a male and a female? That's what I tell people, this woman empowerment, support, even this national girl, even this is a question I got in the first session. Sir, is this National Girls' Day really worthy of celebration? I say, like, women are already powerful. They don't need empowerment. They are already powerful. But what happens to women, or again, this word called discrimination, is they themselves expose too much to the media, where the media shows that the woman is weak. Have a look at all the movies, have a look at all the TV series. You'll always see girls being harassed, girls being discriminated, girls being, flirted around, girls heartbroken. It always, the media shows the girls as always weak, and you yourself started believing that the woman is weak. Now, when a woman itself thinks that they are weak, who can make them strong? So stop exposing yourself to negative media, which is showing woman down, which is showing woman is not worthy, which is showing the females are not worthy of what it is. That is the first point. Because for me, how to tackle the gender description question itself shows that it is girls versus boys. The day when it moves out of girls versus boys and comes as we feeling, when you have that we feeling, all the equation starts to change. Yes, on the other masculine side, some unfairity is happening. I'm not saying no, but did you try out? Now I get a common question from married woman. Sir, I just hate my in-laws. They just misuse me and they just, play around with me. I said, like, what do? I retaliate back and fight back, being the discrimination which is happening to me, and you go on with it. I say, seriously, you're going to win the battle? She said, yes, I know I'm not going to win the battle, but something worse is going to happen, and let's see what happens. That's the feedback which most of the married women gave me. I said, okay, let's try a different approach. You either be the best in-law which you can be, you be the best daughter-in-law which you can be. Two things will happen. If you keep being positive, two things will happen. Either your husband or your wife, or either a husband or you will get a job outside the family or the city where you have to go outside, so the in-laws are alone, or your in-laws going to die. That's a comedy which I say, right? Because when you become positive, negative people cannot stay around. But when you stay negative, your discrimination will keep happening and your injustice will keep happening. And plus you watch TVs where girls are being discriminated. Now that's the other thing I tell. If you constantly see a girl shouting at a father, 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 your father comes, you are going to shout. If you watch most of the reality shows, there's this home show where most of the people get together. There, what they teach you, how to revenge, how to retaliate, how to play games, and you're going to try that games at home also. So what is happening right now is this gender description word is a split word. What corporates and media is trying to do is more they split the family, more they can control the family. And it's all about the divide and rule concept, which the corporates are trying, which different, the feminist concepts and the masculine concepts and all those things are trying. The more they divide you, the more they have power. And that is the intentional move towards it. Now, how to tackle the discrimination of home. So whenever someone asks me a question, I'm going to give a general overview so it benefits everyone. And then I go to the question. First of all, don't think that you're compromising and sacrificing. As woman or whoever it is, generally gender discrimination happens to the woman only. From the woman's perspective, don't see it from that point of view. As I'm compromising, as I'm sacrificing. You are doing it in the love of your family. As long as it's for the love for the family, it's no more discriminating. Like, when you seriously ask your mother, Mama, do you still love me? Do you feel bad loving me? Most of the mothers will say, no, I still love you for the rest of my life. Do you feel you're compromising and sacrificing loving me? Never a mother is going to ever say that. So the question here you got to ask yourself is, how can I be a better wife? And let me focus on being that better wife. Let the world discriminate me. Let the world be unfair to me. But I'm going to be the best woman I can be, best mother I can be, because slowly, the people will realize. And the people will change. That's what I have seen. I've talked to many couples in the verge of divorce, verge of various family issues. And when you really deeply look into the situation, is this ego battle, which is woman versus thing. When you slowly bring it as we are coming together to make an impact, we are coming together to create children, and those children can contribute to society and become better human beings. And that is what. Now, next question to all the Nalini says absolute truth. All thanks to God, Nalini, for the feedback. Now, the next question back to you. How many mothers discriminate other ladies around your society? Right? How many of you say, that is lady, no, let's leave it like that. A poor lady comes begging for money or work. Do you treat them with respect, or you treat them just, hey, clean this room, do this for me, do that for me? So if you yourself is giving a respect to an outside woman who's serving you, what is your son learning from there? A girl who's weaker, I can disrespect her and I can discriminate her. So indirectly, as mothers or as fathers, I'm saying mothers because it's a discriminated question at home, which I feel it's a woman's question. So as fathers, as mothers, what is happening is you're not treating all the women equally. You're not treating all the women in a fair way. You are discriminating some people in different ways. If you have a celebrity coming, oh, sir, come sit on the chair, da, 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 da. If you have a cleaner coming, hey, go that side, go stay outside. You are discriminating there. So if you're discriminating there, why would God don't give you the similar discriminated experience at the end of the day? So sometimes what you don't understand is indirectly, you are discriminating different people in different forms based on your consideration. Now, the third aspect, if you really look at discrimination, is when your child is watching injustice on TV, when a girl is being harassed. You're watching a movie in which the girl is being harassed. Would you allow your son to watch it? Most of you, you'll be enjoying the movie. Yeah. This is all happening. The girl is, you're enjoying something wrong happening to another lady based on which your son is finding entertainment there. Now, how many of you mothers, again, back to mother's question because of discrimination, how many of you mothers tell to your son, beta, go get this great job, go get this great career, you will get a beautiful girl? Indirectly, you're discriminating. You're teaching him to. So if you get a great job, only then you will get a good girl. Which mother tells their child, be the most best human being you can be, you will get the best girl? No one talks about that. Get 100% marks. You copy, whatever, get 100% marks. You cheat also, get 100% marks, so you get that girl. So girl is also used as a product there. If you achieve this, you will get it. If you don't achieve it, you won't get it. So what we are moving towards is that the girl itself is seen as a product. How can boys also think differently? So as mothers, we have to try our best to make our sons or our children be better human beings. Stay with the truth. Accept the realities of life. And the other thing is, accept the fact that the women are weaker physically and men are stronger physically. So there are some things which you got to accept. And when you start training your kid, hey, when some girl harassment scene is happening, hey, don't watch this thing. Why are you watching this scene which is, harassing girls? Here, you are also watching cinema theater. You are also enjoying the harassment. Your son is also enjoying the harassment. Everyone is enjoying the harassment. And then later you tell me why my son is not respecting me. Because he is constantly seeing that. He is constantly seeing male dominating woman. He is constantly seeing male discriminating at home. And that is where the problem is. If we start filtering our children, when they see and exposed to wrongdoing within the home, they won't. For example, gender discrimination at home. When your son is there, he says, see, this is not the right thing which your father is doing. You should treat women equally. You should treat women fairly. And when you treat them fairly, they will begin to respect you back. Yes, Papa is like that. Or, your society is like that. But we are not like that. You have to be better sons so that the society can change. And first you start working on your son. And after you start working on your son, the son will start supporting to this discrimination which is happening at home. And so you and your son will slowly work towards changing your husband who's again discriminating you in some form or the other. And that is how you tackle the gender discrimination at home. I hope I've answered that question in the best possible way. Back to another question. Sir, women in our family facing suffering over responsibility at home, cooking, taking care of kid and household, while men are just enjoying TV. Okay, great question. So the point is, ma'am, there's two sides of the coin here, right? Now, I'm not saying everyone is doing it in the right way, but let me just talk on both sides. Please listen to my whole thing, and then I will step into the discussion, right? So let's see it from this way. When you look at a man, generally, man is what protects the family physically, right? That is the first duty of a man, right? To protect the family security wise, physical wise, every other means. That is one big responsibility which is there. The second thing is, what you need to see here is the other point is paying the electricity bill, paying the students' fees, making sure that you reach in certain place on time. There's many other things which a man is actually doing, which you're not looking at the whole picture. That is the point number one. Yes, as teachers, you will be having an extra load because you're working and you're carrying on with it, right? And taking care of your children. But the question here is, are you enjoying doing home responsibilities, cooking, taking care of your children, and household work? If you're enjoying it, there is no problem with it. What you don't understand here is when you compare your life with men enjoying, I'll tell you something, most of the men die with heart attack than women. That could be because they're just taking so much of stress and not solving it out, and due to which they might be dying with a heart attack. So the point you got to understand is, first thing is you have to love what you're doing and don't see it as a frustration. I'm taking care of cooking because I want to make my children healthy and give the best food which I can be, where all my love is involved in that cooking, so that the love even transferred through my words and through my food. And that is what I want, and that is why I'm cooking. If you are having that cooking attitude, you will never hate cooking. That is point number one. Taking care of your children is the second responsibilities which you're taking the question about. If you want to make your situation and you being the best mother, if you really look at it, most of the great successful people always generally gives credits to their mother and not their wife. But after they get married, they slowly give that equal responsibility. But generally, you will see that it's my mother which gave me that twist. It is my mother. You see, all the great people, they will have one story about their mother saying that, yes, it is because of that mother, that care, that love, that affection which they gave me made me what I am there. That is the second thing. The household work. Now, looking at the household work, yes, it is sometimes difficult when you're working. So the next best option is, if I'm a working professional, is there any way I can use that money to appoint someone to do the housework? Because sometimes you can't do both. You only have 24 hours. But it gets very dumb. Many people try to save money, indirectly losing their health. And the fourth factor is, if you are doing cooking with all this love, taking care of the child, being the best mother you can be, and working the household work, I'm telling you, you're the most healthiest person available in that family. And you are the most mentally strong person, because you're not wasting your time reading newspaper, because reading newspaper only gives you panic, only gives you tension, only gives you frustration. Whoever is reading the news every day with COVID is having COVID anxiety by default. Now, the second thing is about exercising. Household work, you're already exercising. Why you need other exercise? Let them go and do whatever they want. See, why are they exercising? They know they are worried about their health. You don't need to exercise because your work itself becomes an exercise, right? Watching TV. I'm telling you, ma'am, whoever asked me this question, watching TV never is relaxation. I can sign and tell you that anytime. You feel you're getting relaxed. But you know why do people watch TV? You know why do people have entertainment? They are frustrated with their current life and they want to just have some break. And that is why it is. Every addiction which people have is they're frustrated with life. So your husband might be frustrated with life, and to remove that frustration, they are watching it. But on the other hand, you're enjoying home, you're enjoying cooking, you're enjoying taking care of your kid, you're trying to be the best mother you can be and constantly growing above it. I will assure you, your husband or your things will also start changing with time, or else your child will fight and you make your father do what is needed also. That the father can't say no. But the first point is, are we being the mothers? Now, many people ask me this question, sir, I want to make a career, that is profession, that is success, and that is how life is all about. I'll tell you something, a mother or a wife who genuinely works for the family and works on to create two great children, who is going to create a greater impact to the society, and who makes the husband be the best human being he can be, and herself thing is much more higher, is much more spiritually higher than a guy who's sitting and relaxing and watching TV or meditating in one corner of the room trying to find out God. What I believe, mother is the greatest God they can be in the first place. Be that God, you'll start enjoying everything automatically. Let the men do whatever they want. That's a secondary discussion. But the question here is, what is that I want to do? And whatever I'm doing, am I doing it with all the love which I have in the name of God or in the name of who I believe in? Let me do that. You will see your husband coming, hey, you want some help. It will come. But when you're doing with irritation, when you're doing with over responsibility, when you're doing with frustration, why the husband should come? Anyways, you're building up frustration. So let the core be of love. Let the core be of you genuinely want to do it in the name of love. That love will attract your husband to support it. I'm telling you, I've changed a lot of couples who have this issue. The first step is you give out so much of love. Why is the husband getting entertainment from TV where he can get all the love from the wife? That is the next question you got to ask. Why is you not being the suppression reduction of your husband? Why is TV there? Why? So these are the questions a wife should ask. And when you start asking these questions, you'll have more clarity. Is that is okay. Husband is having an office stress. He's trying to remove the stress watching TV. If I start giving my time to him, would that stress be reduced? If that reduction is possible, why would he go to TV? Why would he go to newspaper? So the question lies is, how can I fill the gap where my husband is looking outside for solution? How can I be the solution where he is looking outside? And when you start filling that gap, slowly that family will start healing. Slowly that love will start spreading. And slowly you will see the same husband. Hey, you want some help from me or what? I'm telling you that husband will come. But you have to do with love. You have to do with all the affection and fairity, by not feeling discriminated or by not feeling now facing and suffering overall. Now you're seeing it as a, as you are being killed, and that level you have taken it. I'm telling you, your husband is going to be that way until you change. Your husband is like that because somewhere around you need to change it from that perspective. I hope I've answered the question in some form, directly or indirectly. Feel free to ask. Let's stick it around the topic if you want to stick around, but if you want to go around, because for me, what I believe is I come for every session to explain about a topic, but my main objective is to answer the questions which people want me to talk. And that is more important for me than anything else, because your real problem is that. Now, forever, whoever asked me this question, I'm sure once that teacher or ma'am gets the solution, her education automatically, she'll become a good teacher. Because 90% of the teacher's problem is not sitting in the education, it is sitting at home. Once she figures that out, teaching becomes very easy. But every time when the teacher, now I've done a session for teachers, and sir, I'm like the ma'am was saying, we teachers have this great power. We switch off the button when we are in classroom, right? The home problems will never bother you. What I truly believe, it is just a made up principle. You are you have the energy which you give out is a suffering and an over responsibility, mother, teacher talking to the children. That effect will always be there. That frustration will always be there. I'm sure whoever, any mother sees a statement saying facing and suffering with over responsibility will have anger somewhere. Anger is a part of that. I'm sure about it. When you talk about discrimination, when you're talking about suffering, I'm sure slowly you will move to an angry teacher. Slowly you move to an angry mother, because all this thing you're doing with that, frustration at the end, right? Next question I got, how do we develop our knowledge in pandemic situation? Kindly explain and point out the different ways and means for it. Okay, how to develop our knowledge in the pandemic situation? First thing is, I always define what is knowledge. Many people don't have the meaning of knowledge. Everyone thinks that if I study this book, I have knowledge. If I mug up and read a motivational book, I have knowledge. But the question here to everyone I ask is simple. Is that knowledge any help to you? Many people read novels. I don't know why. Many people watch movies. That is also a form of knowledge seeking. You watch a lot of movies, you'd learn a certain knowledge. But the question here is, what is knowledge? How I define knowledge from my simple concept, any kind of information which helps you to be a better human being is the real knowledge which people need to gain. Now, for example, someone asked me the question about the sufferings and responsibilities of a woman and injustice to the family, right? How can I be a better mother? Read books are related to that. How can I fix my husband? How can I fix my lazy husband? Is there something wrong which I am doing, which I need to work on to improve? So the question here is, that is the knowledge which people need. Many people tell me a lot of knowledge and seeking knowledge. My simple question, the greatest knowledge people need is, how do I be the best person in the role which I'm given to? If you're a teacher, how do I be a better teacher? Right? How do I learn from other good teachers? I know many of you would be watching 3 hours of movie. I'm sure about it. Is it helping you in the pandemic? I know many people, Netflix, Disney or Hotstar or whatever you have, you're all watching that. Is it giving you knowledge? Most knowledge people seek right now is just for discussion purposes only, not their self-growth. And for me, that is not knowledge. So the question here is, how can I be a better teacher and how can I be a better student? Buy every book related to that. Read everything related to that. Now, for example, there'll be students here. You want to be civil engineers, you want to be teachers. How to be a better teacher? That's the first thing you got to look into. How do teachers balance their work life and family life? That is what you got to do it. Experiment it at home, right? So when this difference is not understood of what education is, then it just works it out against you at the end of the day, right? So what you got to really understand here is this question of what is knowledge, because most of the knowledge you have is waste for you and the society anyways. So find knowledge which is truly makes you a better individual. Whatever doubts you have, whatever problems you have, go in search of the solutions. Now you have an opportunity, ask me any question. Come on video, come on audio, ask me any question you have. How many are utilizing it? None. None means 1 or 2 people who are asking me on the chat. You can come on video and have a discussion. Feel free to counter me also from what I'm saying. Don't take it one-sided. I'm here to have a discussion where you can counter and have an open discussion where we can clarify the doubts. What I tell people, meet me once, clear all your doubts and forget me. I don't want anyone to come back to me again. But there might be personal doubts. You know my name, figure it out, search out and message me. I will respond to it, not a problem, because I do my sessions completely free of charge. I don't care or think what people think about my sessions, but I'm going to give 100% justice to give the answers in the best possible way. So I hope I've answered that question. Next question is, if there's any personal question, you can send message only to me, and that way also you can ask me a question, right? So can you help us increase the mental strength of students as they're distracted and distressed, especially in the pandemic time? The first thing you got to do is to get them on camera, because if you can't get them on camera, you can never control them. You don't know what is happening. So make sure they come on camera. That is the first step you can do. Or come on voice, or keep the voice open. Because what happens is, if you're having all of them switched off, you really don't know they're really listening or not. We don't know if they're just for the certificate or what they're actually doing. So when you start doing that, that is the first thing. Now, why? There are so many 88 people plus another 100 people sitting on YouTube and watching the show. Why is no one coming on camera? The complex is there. So what you have to provoke your children or your students is to come on camera. Learn to love them. Learn to give them the mental strength to come on camera. Because if they can do that, I'm telling you, the mental strength is at a very different level. So next time, the next show which you're doing, tell all your students, you have to come on camera. Whoever comes on camera gets 10 marks extra. So indirectly, what you're doing is you're making the kids to come online. And when they come online, they themselves are going to be mentally strong. Now, what I tell people, whoever can't come on camera are people who don't worthy themselves as, people watching me. You have some complex feeling. So that is how few ways you can start helping your children to come online. Let them face the world. That is the other thing. Third thing is have time for them. As teachers, never ever think that 8 hours job is a teacher's job. Teacher's job is like a doctor's job. That's what I truly believe in. You should be available for the students anytime when they need you. If that is what they have, they will slowly open up their own mental issues which they're going through, and you can help them to get out of it. Sometimes I tell teachers, sometimes a student just need one tap on the hand. Hey, you did a great job. They will open up and become mentally strong from there. Some kids, which could be girls and girls, a teacher needs just one, give a good hug to the child. The child will just go automatically, all the mental strength which he's not getting from the mother or father, he will get it from the teacher, and you can flip it around. So the question here is talk to the children in their language and not the teacher's language. And when you start talking in their language, for example, kids are distracted about doing your studies. Before even starting your session, start the conversation. Hey, who all watched the South Africa match? India lost. Few words, talk about it. I'm telling you, all the boys will be excited in the class then and there. You're talking their language. Hey, who saw this new movie which has come on? It's really good. It's really supporting the society. How many of you watched it? Boom, your children will start opening up. So the point is to get students out of distraction. You should be much more valuable to them, and they will automatically open up. Right? When I do my live shows on Instagram, 30 to 40 people will be there 3 hours, 4 hours with me whole time when I'm doing the session. I still ask, well, really, I'm giving you so much of focus that you're sitting there. You should sign out and go, right? But it happens. So genuinely, if you are wholeheartedly teaching as a genuine teacher, students will listen and the concentration will come. But you yourself are hating the profession of teaching job, that connection is not going to happen. And I know 50% of the teachers are just doing this job for the salary. So if you are one of the teachers who are just doing for the salary, first change that attitude that I am their mothers or I am their guru for making them in a level which totally changes an impact to their life. And I'm the selected instrument by God to make that impact in that student's life. If you have that attitude, the children will focus, will come to you, will be. How many of you, I ask teachers, how many of you are the favorite teacher of a child? Very few, right? You can list, okay, the whole classroom, I'm the most favorite teacher. Very few. Why are you not the favorite teacher? Ask that question to yourself. Maybe the method of teaching needs to be slightly changed. Now back to the question I got. The knowledge. Are you having the right knowledge? I'm the teacher. I have to just teach the syllabus and I'm just going to do my job, tick in the box. That's not teaching. That is just copy pasting. And when you start changing it from that point of view, your students will have support. The students will stand and say, this teacher changed my life. The greatest appreciation any teacher can get is when the child comes and says, ma'am, you are the one who flipped in my life. If that is what you can do for each and every student you can do, I'm telling you, those children will all be mentally strong. It doesn't matter. Many people say that, sir, virtually you can't connect. It is very, very difficult. Like I've done a session for college, 3 hours. I was getting questions after questions after questions from students. It was around, 300 students altogether. They figure out how to bring it out. It starts working out and the principal had to stop. It's going too long. And the session was stopped that way. So the point is, are you a genuine teacher? Are you genuinely focusing on being that best teacher for my students? I'm telling you, students are going to love spending time with you for hours and hours and hours. And make sure you talk their language and not the teacher's language. Many teachers say, I am the teacher, just do as I say. I'm telling you, most of the students will stop talking to you after that, right? So have jokes, have fun, and work it out from there, right? So someone can come on video, audio to ask me questions. I'm taking on chat. It's very, very boring. You are all listening to my voice. You're all teachers, or whoever's on teachers. Feel free to come online and ask me questions. I know I've triggered you in different ways to ask questions. You see, if it's a personal topic, you can say a topic related stuff like anger or, educational issues or backbenchers. How do you deal with people who are, you can ask me general questions which might answer your topic also, right? So feel free to ask. It's your wish how to utilize me. If you want to keep it regardless on the topic, you can do it. Or if you want to talk about any subject which is bothering you, irritating you, because my objective, if it's all teachers over here or future teachers, is to make you the best teacher which you can be. That's my objective. And I'll go to any extent to make you those teachers, provided you ask me the question. Because if you don't ask me the questions, okay, God, teach them in whichever way they want. As I said, meeting me is just a shortcut to ask me whatever's bothering. Like many people who want to be teachers, how do I be a teacher? How is a teaching profession? Is teaching profession right for me or wrong for me? Only if you ask, I'm going to tell. How do you manage work life and balance your family life? If you ask, I will tell. How do you now? These are the questions I keep getting, because why I'm making you ask. If you don't ask for yourself, no one is ever going to ask you. If you're getting discriminated at home, you have to ask, why am I getting discriminated? Or why is being unfair over here? Because if that is not asked, it just works against you. So I'm getting another question. If there's no Android phone, how do you connect students to study? Now, I really don't know, this is a system issue, or if the teacher's not having Android, students, the only option is, if you're going on social media, if you're going on virtual teaching, it is a responsibility of the college or whatever it is to provide some means they can do it. So the other option you can do is, in a safe way, bring 4 or 5 students following the protocol and have one laptop so they can listen to. The other way is have a recording recorded this way and then share that to those students in some form or the other. Because when you say the students don't have a mobile, and if you're moving to that platform, then you have to find out how the students can have that access or find ways. I've seen, I think it was which college? I don't remember the name of the college. What they do is everyone works from college from home, right? Everyone works from home, but people who don't have the support, we will arrange one laptop or one common laptop where you are following the protocol and you can come to the classroom and follow that and be a part of it. So it is a responsibility, I feel, from the educational perspective, if the students are not having that, right? What teachers do education trick? Grace, Paul, I didn't understand that question. What are teachers doing? I didn't understand the question. Now, so feel free to just step in. Grace, you're there. You can just switch on the mic and just ask me the question. If you want to, check it out from there, right? Motivation makes affection. Yes. Now there is 2 things here. What I believe in motivation is a mic is unmuted. Okay. So guys, I think you can leave people to open up the mics, so it is much more interesting, so we can hear, but raise your hand first. If it's allowed, I really don't know. It's a webinar. If it's allowed, it'll be great and more interesting to interact rather than if it is that way. So if you give the option to open up the mic, I think which you would have control to, please raise your hand. I will call your name and then you can ask me the question, right? One question, motivation. See, problem with motivation, it is temporary. That is the biggest problem with motivation. And most of the motivation people have moved into is basically because they have moved into entertainment. So what I tell people is motivation is like eating a vitamin tablet for an unhealthy body, which is not working out. So you are eating the vitamin tablet, it gives you all the healthy energy, but after that your body or your health starts hitting you, and that health starts hitting you, again you have a vitamin tablet and your life or your health is getting spoiled anyways, and then you die with various other crises. So what I tell people is you only need one motivation in life. one motivational book to change your life. And the best life, or the book which you can read to get all the motivation, is your life book. Why am I suffering? What are the problems I'm going through? Is there anything more I need to work on? That is the book. And the second best book, if you still want to read, is your parents' book, your mother's book, and your father's book. 90% of the problems are sitting within your family itself. 90%. Everyone sitting here, all around 89 people are sitting here. 90% of the problem is sitting within that family itself. Start focusing on that. You don't need any motivation. You don't need my motivation also at the end of the day. Right? Yes, Mahalakshmi, you want to ask any question? Feel free to jump in, ask. Yes. No? Yes, no? Ask. I don't know why people are so worried about asking. Because the thing is, I don't know if I'm the only person. I'm totally done with lecturing people. It's not going to change anyone's life. If I tell you get up at 5 a.m. in the morning is the best time to wake up, if a teacher is taking care of the sick child late night, can I tell her to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning? No, I can only tell her wake up at 7 or 8 in the morning, or take leave from the school that day because your child is more important than the school. So my job is to give you the answers which you're looking for. It can be from any topic. You can ask me any question from birth to death. Some people ask. People who don't ask what I say, life is going to teach them regardless, right? So, someone has picked up a mic. Feel free to ask about any topic, anything, future, career, how to get into job, interviews. I'm going to provoke you because, or else, you know what? I want to finish with the guilt in your mind that you want to ask this question and you didn't ask. Because only one fine day you will make you ask, right? Because the thing is, I hope whoever has asked me the question, I've given 100% justice answer to them. And I think I've done, provided they didn't counter me, so I think I should be okay. But why are you shying away from asking? If teachers themselves, yes, Samuel, finally. Yeah, Samuel, go ahead. Unmute your mic if you can. Or I think they can't unmute the mic. Yes,
Sir,
Samuel. Yes. Good evening. Thanks a lot for stepping up and coming forward and asking a question.
Just now they have enabled the unmuting.
Go ahead. Oh, I never knew that. Okay, good. So you should have said that. And thanks a lot for Grace ma'am for letting me know that. Yeah, go ahead, Samuel.
Sir, I have a query. Is it right to lock down the whole population for a meager amount of affected population? In our villages, there are so many children. Here there is no pandemic, there is no affection of coronavirus affected. There is very less people affected here, and that's they lock the whole schools. They are going to daily wages. They work as daily wages, and they work in families. They don't have opportunity to study. Is it right? The action of government is right?
See, Samuel, it's a political question, right? So what happens is, it's not about if the government right, or is it fair or unfair, or whatever is happening. Now, for example, the Omicron has kicked in. Is it right for the Omicron to spread this fast? Right? We never expected Omicron is going to spread this way around the world. So what is happening there is maybe the government has some calculation based on how things are going to happen and what things are going to happen in order to protect that. So Samuel, let me give you another example. If your village, there's no COVID, due to some reason, the Omicron comes and hits your village, and most of the men who you think is, day job and all that, it starts hitting them, and everyone is thinking, and what is going to happen to the whole family? The question is not about is it right or wrong. The question is, what is the logical thinking and the reasoning as to what needs to be done now based on the future problems by which it could come into your village. Yes, your village might not have even one thing, but one wrong Omicron comes, or one of your family member goes out to some random city because this one, and he brings on Omicron to village, complete family affected. Don't you think it's a bigger crisis? Yes or no? Samuel, yes or no? Samuel is there? Oh, he can't unmute? Okay, let me ask him to unmute. So, Samuel, you there or gone? Or he's gone or he can't? Okay, yeah. So question to you. Yeah, so just keep on, right? Don't switch off your mic. Right? So the question to you is, don't you think it's a bigger crisis?
I don't think this situation is a bigger crisis, sir. Apart from Omicron, this situation is bigger crisis. For 3 years, our studies have been cut off, and we have never given an opportunity. Only people having the accessible to the internet and the high standard coaches, they get the chance. The children who are in the
good question. So you are saying that the technology is interrupted, various other things are not giving us such opportunity, but there is a thing called a book. Go and find the book, what is being taught. Go and find the education. Now, I don't know how many of you know about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln used to borrow book from library and sit underneath the street light, and that's how he has become the president of United States of America. So the question here is, you can blame a certain surrounding to a certain level, but at the end of the day, the world doesn't care what you do. But you can care what you can do right now is, okay, maybe because of the network connection, you can't connect or with your friends or whatever it is, friend, do the recording or do something for me so I can get it worked out. That is one point which you can do. Hey, are you writing notes? Can you share the copy of your notes? Because I can't do that. Now, the network issue I have, yes, okay, network is there. I don't have any access. Okay, teacher, I'm just going to meet you once. Tell me all the books which you're teaching, and I'm going to sit and read. And whenever the Omicron's lockout is out, I'm going to come and meet you and clear all the doubts which I have. Do you have 100 doubts right now from the last 3 years which you have closed down? Answer is no. So the question here is not about what is the government, what they're doing, or the schools, what they're doing is right or wrong. It's what are you doing? Because if Samuel is doing that, 90% of the other students are not doing it. And once the lockdown is out, Samuel is much more better in his village compared to any other students, and you're going to get the job which you're looking for. Omicron is applicable to every person within your village. It depends on who has the upper edge on what they're going to work on more and focus on more and work it out from there. So Samuel, if you start focusing from that perspective more, you will start thinking from a different way, and you will not. Now, what are you spending most of your energy on? Is this right or wrong? Is this right and wrong? You're not focusing on what I need to do to get my life in the right way. Start focusing on your life and what I can do in the limit. God is watching, or the universe is watching, or whoever is the government knows what is happening. What are you doing about it? Is a question which I have to ask you. And if you're just waiting, is it right or wrong? There is many rights and wrong happening in this world, but what am I doing right about my life so that when the Omicron lockdown, many people, when I used to give live session, they say, sir, no time for my dreams, no time for my passion. Now everyone have all the time for the passion. What are you sitting and watching TV, looking outside, hanging around with friends or whatever you're doing? So the question is, now you have such a great opportunity to work out on being the best Samuel Prince which Samuel can be. Start focusing on, let the government do whatever they want at the end. Your point is, can I help a certain people to create a foundation? So when that lockdown is open, we are ready to launch in such a way that we can make profits which I can never ever make in the next few lives. And when you start working from that point of view, you're playing a different game then. I hope, Samuel, I've answered that question. If you feel you can counter me also, not a problem. Or if yeah. So Grace want to ask a question. Can you unmute Grace, please? Or give me host access so I can unmute them as needed. Can you give mic access to Grace? Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Before pandemic, there is few of the students only use YouTube channels. But after pandemic, many of the students use YouTube channels. They come on live and vlogs they are created. What do you think about this, sir?
So children are starting the YouTube channel? Yeah, so keep, if you don't mind, keep their mic open. So it's fine, right? So that I can have a quick interaction. So see all this YouTube and social media and all that thing, it is okay. This has a certain age for everything. That is what I strongly believe. Because if the age is not right, there are chances the kids can go in different directions in the process, getting in the name of YouTube. That is point number 2. I'm totally against in the topic. I don't know, might have seen a lot of reality shows where kids are dancing onto songs which are adult music. Yeah, which is, which talks about lust, which talks about attraction, how to, you fall for me, you have to love me. Your 8-year-old kid are dancing into that music. Now, what is the mindset of that girl or kid in the process? What you don't understand is you should be very, very careful what your kids are exposing to. Because if that is not clearly done, you're creating much more bigger consequences in future. So if the kids are starting at after a certain age, they can start it. It is not a problem. After a certain level of understanding of how YouTube works, and there's a money factor also, if they can do it, it is fine to talk. But what's their age? If their age is to study, and once they figure out their life, get into YouTube, not a problem. But if the question here you got to ask is it the right age? Many people, now I'll tell you a simple question, Grace ma'am. 8-year-old kid dancing into a music which completely talks about love and attraction, and they have that, lusty body shaping, body movement and all. Is that right? But you're watching it in the front of your child itself. It's not right. So, but you are watching this in the front of your own child. What are you studying your child? Okay, expose. Okay, do this at that small age. No one is talking about study, be a good student, be a good human being. No one is talking to the child. And when something that child does wrong, you say, oh, it's a society. He got like that. He got the problem, right? So when your kids are getting into various other things, make sure you keep a watch if it is the right age for them. If it's the right age, let them explore. Keep a watch on things, what they're doing. Make sure they don't get misdirected. YouTube have their own kids channel. If it's a kids channel, go ahead and get into the kids channel. It's safe and fine. I don't know how many of you know, YouTube has an exclusive YouTubekids.com. That's exclusively kids, no ads, no, adult stuffs, purely for kids. They can obviously play around there, not a problem. So make sure you have let the parents be the filters to the world which your children are watching. Let the parents be the filter to the exposure of your child to this world. If that is right, no kid will go wrong. And make sure you share your values. Nowadays, parents are so busy that they don't have time to share to their children also. What happens? They take the values of the outsiders. And outsiders' values are all just to make money out of your child. And their child also get misused in the process. So make sure you transfer that values. And the kid himself will say, Mama, I'm doing this YouTube because these problems are there in this world. And I want to share my education to that. I want to share our values, our family values to society so it can help more people. Why not? Let him start the YouTube. Make sure the intention is pure. If the intention is pure, any social media you start is always good for the society. Next question, could you please give some tips to teachers to make our student learn better through online teaching? First, I'll tell a few steps. First step is to start a protocol of bringing them on camera. Camera communication is much more better than all these closed things. That is point number 1. Find a system to do it. The third thing, what you need to do, second thing, what you need to do is, first, don't go directly into teaching. That is the biggest mistake. Oh, today's topic is this and blah, blah, blah. Have a casual talk. Hey, how is the Omicron at your place? Is anyone struggling? Did any of your parents lose your job? have that open conversation with the children so they can open up with you. Because once the kids open up with you, you will see that they'll be more attentive to you because you are there to listen to their problem. So have this open conversation. Hey, did any of you lose your father or mother, lose your job because of Omicron? Raise your hand. Okay, is everything okay? Okay, I will call you after the session. Let's have a communication if that is really interrupting your education or not. Be a mother to that children. The children will listen and give them all the love as a teacher that will go out. The third thing is make them talk or make them interact and give points to that. If you ask me 5 questions on video, audio, all of you are going to get 5 marks extra in the next exam. So what happens? They're forced to be attentive, right? The other thing is we have this sessions. I'm going to bring speakers on this session. Whoever comes on this will get, into a group which is exclusively getting special sessions for that. So what happens is you are training your children, your students, so that if you perform, right now there is no performance in online participation. So create a protocol within your organized structure to credit students who are having online participation, to credit students who come on video, to credit students who's asking questions. So there's many people. There is Sheila, there is Grace, I don't know who are teachers, who are students. They're all asked these questions. Tomorrow on, give them 5 marks to everyone. I'm telling you, there are all the other people who start asking questions from now on. You're getting them attentive automatically. You have writing exam. You have Viva. Have a new system of online participation and 10% marks for that. Your students will start communicating again. So it's more of an organizational thing which you have to decide and discuss and to see how other thing is. The third thing is, the last thing is, maybe the kids need break also, because sometimes 1 hour lecture online can be really boring. So make sure you give that 5 minutes break, go and drink coffee or whatever it is, get charged up. And I understand that and work it out from that point. Because sometimes virtually, how much are you going to look at a small screen? Because sometimes when you look at a very small screen for a long time, it stresses out. So the other thing, after 15 minutes, okay, kids, everyone look outside, 20 minutes off the screen so that, your eyes are calmed down. Have some fun once in a while in the teaching. So that way, the kids look forward towards that fun. Oh, this teacher is going to, okay, then, or the other thing, okay, in the middle of the session, I'm going to talk about some question, and whoever answers this question, 5 marks for them. So what, they will sit and listen and the whole thing, and they are going to give you the answer, whoever gets 5 marks. When marks are put on the line, students will open up, right? And that is how you got to do it. So have an organized system where, I don't know if it's possible or not to do, but have some ways where you can give credits to kids in some way or the other, right? More questions? Anyone else? Okay, there was more questions here. How to balance our teaching profession with government demands, classroom demands, as well as family demands. Okay. Now that's a very, very vast and a very big topic to talk on its own. I can have a complete session just on that. Now, the first thing is, what is the current situation? What can I do in the teaching profession? How can I raise my concerns to the organizations or the teaching institute based on which the problems which I'm facing through? Have that open communication. And coming back to the family, you have to share with your family that I'm going to have classrooms, or I am going to have class from this time to this time, somehow support. For example, I'm doing this live session. Currently, my wife is taking care of the child. I told him, okay, 2 hours, I'm going to be here. Please take care. Don't get him on board. If he comes also, I will come and make you say hi to him, because I don't care. I need my son to know you also. It doesn't make any big difference to me. So maybe your son comes walking. Let your son introduce to your children, students, and they will feel, oh, this is the teacher's son. Oh, okay, great. Okay, I know. Hi. Everyone is happy, right? So when you start doing that, you will see that family also becomes a part of your educational system. And once that happens, more enjoyment will be coming in from that, right? So government stuff, it's government's demand. You can't run away from that. You just have to follow. You're part of the government. You're part of the system. You're part of the country. You can't deviate from that. But your family, have an open discussion saying that, guys, I have this teaching, somehow work it out, or somehow find helping support, or you know, since the COVID is there, find a place where you can teach people, or go into your you know, or go into your, you know, in-laws place, or go into your family's place to do the teaching. Is there some ways to do it and work it out from there, right? So that's the ways to balance it. First of all, you should know what is the balance all about. Many people tell me that, sir, what is work-life balance? Many people have this work-life balance. They work and they go home and watch TV the rest of the time. That's not life. So make sure that balance is very, very keen. The next question I got is the role of education making a difference in pandemic situation. Education has nothing to do with the pandemic situation. The main thing is, what are you wanting to learn through the process of educating yourself based on the pandemic situation? Now, for example, Samuel have asked a beautiful question with regard to the pandemic situation. There is a problem there. So what you need to work on is focus on how I got to educate. Now, many people, let's say education, there's two sides of education. One is to educate yourself of the pandemic and coming to the reality truth of it. Many people don't know. Many people are just living in the fear and living in the concept of fear that something wrong will happen. So I just have to stay safe and fine. If you wear mask and if you have the social distancing, I don't think that. Now, for example, in the peak of Omicron, I shouldn't be saying this publicly, but in the peak of Omicron, I was in Mangalore. So December to January 4th, I was traveling to Mangalore, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, you know, Tuticorin, you know, Coimbatore, Bangalore. I was traveling all my sessions, talking face to face, but I followed the protocol. I travel in the most safest way, following the guidelines which the government give, and all thanks to God, I'm still safe in Abu Dhabi, back again, right? Right now I'm in Abu Dhabi. So I travel around in India to do my sessions once in a while. That's what I do. But still everything was safe and fine. So it was an educative plan to do it because I'm vaccinated. That's the other thing. So based on that calculated risk. So it's the education which I have based on the pandemic, based on the situation, which actually made me take that action. The second thing is, please don't watch too much of COVID news. You're just going to fill up a lot of negative. Many people are there following every day. Oh, COVID number is this. Oh, COVID number is that. Oh, and you discuss it, COVID. The more, like, I don't know, it was your college. No, it was not this. In the previous college, I went to a session and the ma'am said that, sir, I have COVID anxiety. And the doctor says I have COVID anxiety. So I started talking. I knew this was going to happen. My kid has come here. Go. So I told 2 hours. So I will tell hi, say hi to everyone if you want. So he'll say hi, he's fine. So this,
Sir, please allow them.
Okay, bye. So that's how you got to do it. Now I brought my family. You all know who my kid is. I'll come. Just 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I'll come, right? So 2 days, 2 days, 2 hours, okay? So that's what. So the kids come. So you just say hi to everyone. So this is a live thing I'm showing and teaching. This is what you got to do. You saw my kid. You have a relationship with my kid now. You know my family and the relationship is great, right? So this is the live, and thanks a lot for him to come by so that I can show you how teachers have to do teaching, right? So back to this thing, please don't watch so much of COVID news. That is where it all gets wrong. That is where all the confusion is. Stay safe, get protected, get your guarded so that unnecessarily you don't. And please, many people are there to challenge the situation. Yeah, just yeah, go. 2 minutes. Bye. Okay. So what I did, my kid came with a problem. I ignored you and gave importance to him because I had to explain to him. If I explain to him, he's fine. I've did the balance which I needed. So this is my thing which I'm doing. And my family comes in. A ma'am asked me, how do I balance my family? When my family comes in, you people are not important to me. I don't care what you people think. My son came in the session. Yes, my son came in the session. My son will come. Who someone says the son will come or what? So what I'm trying to show you, family will come. You are in social media in all one room, children will come, but you feel bad about it. What teachers going to think, what students are going to think, that will affect your teaching profession. Say hi, you said hi, please give me another 2 hours, I will come back. He's happy, I'm happy, you're also happy. Education is being transferred in a very positive way. It's a pandemic situation, but I showed you, I'm really thankful my son came in. So now I can tell you how teachers should balance. But what you do, hey, why you came to the class? Hey, this was not fair. Hey, you disturbed the classroom. Hey, you should not, you poor guy will get frustrated there. And that frustration you take as mother, with that frustration you're teaching, you first. Look at me, hey, come say hi to everyone, gone. So this is a, thank God he came, so I can give you a live example of how this balance can be done, right? So the next quick question is it right to announce a pass release due to COVID? See, it's all the government things to do the things, let them do what they do. There is nothing right and wrong. Do what is right for you. So that way it is safer for you. Now, at the end, I'm telling you, even the government or anyone have no complete idea of the COVID. Everyone is doing assumed risk return actions, and they're just taking actions in order to protect it. Maybe they might be manipulated by the corporates. Maybe they were manipulated by the pharmaceutical companies. Maybe there's many factors around that. Let them do what they want to do. Let me be that mother who's not suffering, who's not struggling, who's trying to bring that family together. The problem is there. Fix that problem, then all these COVID things will never bother you anymore. Fix that problem, you'll indirectly be the teacher which you need to be. Fix that problem, you will automatically transfer free-heartedly to all the students. And that education trend. Most of the teachers can't be teachers because they are struggling at home, doing the ma'am's question of housework and all that. The education is stopping there. Find ways to fix it. Happily do it. You become a happy teacher. I will tell you something just to more understanding on this. If you are positive, people will always want your positivity because most of the people are having negative experiences. So if the teacher becomes positive, the students will come after you. That time, educate them. That's what you got to do. But first, the teachers have to be positive. And if that is not done, how much ever pandemic or situation or education, if I give you lectures after lecture, if you yourself think your house is a suffering and being discriminated, how much ever you become a teacher, that suffering also comes with you. And the suffering teacher is standing in front of it. The kids will feel it. The education won't happen. So first is to be that positive teacher. And then slowly you will see how smoothly the education transfer, how smoothly it takes it on from there. I've been told I have to finish it by 4:30 now. So we are having 5 more minutes to go. So I will go on talking as though there are many more serious questions in teachers' mind. I know that because I do, like one of the college, I don't know if it's a Tutikodi or something like that. I did a session for students. I did a session for every batch they have and an exclusive session for teachers, which almost went for 1.5 hours, right? About different teaching topics, right? Thank you so much for excellent handle our online classes with stress-free. Now, first of all, stress. This is a typical question I get from teachers. And the question I get from teachers is, sir, stress is a part of teacher's life. Crap. I'm a person who doesn't believe that at all. Stress normally comes because you're holding on to something which you're not supposed to hold on to. What happens when you're holding on to something going against you? It becomes stress on your hand. So a stress is maybe the family issue. You're holding on too much. So the stress is coming up. So maybe it is your incapability of being a good teacher is building up stress. It's maybe you can't communicate well in the language which the children understand. That is building up stress. So every stress which is there with you, God is telling you change. Every stress or irritation which is there in your life, life and universe is telling you to change. If you change, the stress will go. Devi, you came in for the question or trying out the testing of the hand raise. So please don't see stress as stress. That's why I keep saying every tear which falls out of your eyes is something life trying to teach you. If you learn the lesson and change, the teaching will stop. If you don't learn, life will keep hitting you with the same problem. Be a good teacher, be a good mother, forgive the husband, forgive your children, be the best person, or else I'll keep hitting you. You're making your husband the most laziest guy, putting all the responsibility. Suffer. You like sufferings? No. Suffer. Step up. See it from a positive sense. Then automatically the mother becomes positive. And that positive spreads to your children. The children become positive. The negative father can't stay for so long. And when you start doing that, you will see your whole family slowly moving to positivity. Then teaching becomes very easy automatically. Yes, Devi, you have a question? I have another 2 more minutes to go. Devi, can you unmute her if you don't mind? Unmute. Ask to unmute.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, apart from academics, what's the importance of communication? I mean, effective communication. If so, accent plays in which role?
What plays in which role?
Accent.
Okay, good question. Beautiful question. That is one of the best teacher's question I ever got after a long time. Good. So communication is very important. Why? I will tell you. Because if you can't communicate to people, you can't transfer the information which you have to them in the best possible way. That is point number 1. Communication can be any ways. It can be your language. That is point number 1. Second thing is, what language do my audience understand? That is very important. Because if the audience doesn't understand the way you speak, then there's a problem with communication. For example, some people tell me, sir, like initially I was giving a session in Gujarat. They called for the session for students. Even the parents turned up. And the parents only knew Hindi. And I was not that good at Hindi. But I thought, okay, for the parents' sake, I will try my broken Hindi so that I will also improve my Hindi. And I gave a session in Hindi, and somehow I figured I can do in Hindi also. So the first step of communication is use the language which the students understand and talk in their language. That is the second thing of communication. The third thing, accent. Accent has nothing to do with education. Nothing. You have, who asked me the question? I forgot the person's name. Because you just there. Devi, yes. Devi's accent is different from Deek Parshni's accent. Prema ma'am's accent is different. Your mother's accent is different. You have Indian English and you have British English, you have US English. Let it all, you have here Nigerian English. Have you ever heard that English? Their accent you won't understand also. I struggle, like I have few Nigerian groups. I struggle understanding them also. Because they will come with such strange accent, but they understand. Their group understands. So accent, please don't. That's why I tell people that only improve on your strength, never improve on your weakness. Only work on your weakness if it's an obstacle to your goal, which means if you want to be a Tamil teacher, for example, Tiruvallur, Tamil Nadu, right? If you want to be a Tamil teacher, why work on English? Right? You don't need to work on English. That is stupidity, right? So what I need to be a better teacher, if my accent is being made fun of few people, it is their problem. But now if they're not understanding my accent, then it's your problem. If they are thinking bad about your accent, even though they can understand it, is their problem. If your accent is not understood by them, then it's your problem. So find out where the problem is. Right? Some words you might like, if you go to Kerala, I've seen, I'm originally from Kerala. Some people will say, school as a school. Right? So that's an accent they have and they pronounce it that way. For me, if they talk, I will not make fun of them because I understand it is school. So my point is to understand that I'm saying now my name. Many people are worried how you spell my name. Right? So my name is a little bit strange also. For me, it doesn't matter. As long as they say Deek or Parashini or Parashini or whatever this, for me, it doesn't matter. Because it is there of how they are reading it. As long as I understand it, what is the big problem? Right? So some people make fun of the accent. That is the best question I tell. Devi, you're there online? You can come on mic. No? Okay, fine. Forget it. Okay. So that Devi can come on mic. No. Okay, fine. So okay, raises the hand again. Can you give her a mic access? I just want to test her, tell her, how and why, how these accents should not be taken personally, right? Can you unmute Devi, please? Yes, Devi. So if I call you a dog, how do you feel? What?
It
Good,
may
bad?
rise,
Sorry?
it may raise some things over.
No, if I call you a dog, would you feel good or bad?
Probably not.
Probably not. If I call your mother a dog, would you feel good or bad?
Sir, pardon?
If I call your mother a dog, would you feel good or bad?
Not bad. I feel bad.
You would feel bad.
Totally bad.
Why? You have this human being self-respect about your mother. And when someone is challenging that self-respect of a human, self-respect is the most negative word which many teachers have, right? The people have to treat me in a certain way. They have to call me doctor, this. I did a session for doctors once. It was all dental doctors. So the first question I ask is, why does every doctor introduce themselves as doctor this, doctor that? Can't they just introduce by their name? See, this is a question you got to ask, right? So what happens is, when I call you a dog, you're feeling bad because you have this self-respect which you have in your head, and that gets challenged, that irritates you, and you feel bad. If someone calls me a dog, I'll say, hey, thank you very much, man. It sounds so nice to you. You can't control me. So same way, someone making fun of your accent, if you know I'm genuinely telling in the best knowledge I have, that shouldn't bother you, because they are not understanding you and they're forcefully not understanding you. There's two types of understanding: forcefully understanding or forcefully not understanding. So the question here is, when you make mistakes in your accent, if people are making fun of you because they don't understand you, or they're making fun of you because they have a chance. If a mental person comes and calls your mother a dog, how would you react? You would just chill and relax. So every person who don't understand you are generally having some mental problem. Accept that and enjoy your life and move on. Don't give so much focus on the accent at the end. Even my accent, I don't know what accent is mine. Mine is, I spend my whole life in the Gulf, right? I've done US, UK and Indian education. I'm from Kerala and I travel all around India. I have my own deep Persianese accent, and that's why I stand by, and no one can stop me from changing from deep Persianese accent. Right? That's what you got to have confidence in your accent in such a way, right? I hope I've answered the question. Anyone else? Or we'll slowly wind up the show. Ask, don't miss this opportunity. I feel really bad when there's almost 90 people still keeping all their questions among their heart. I don't know, why I feel bad, because I know I've triggered you all in a different ways to ask me questions. Or if there's something in which you think, which I didn't say right, feel free to counter me also, right? And okay, Devi says, I mean to say, she says, I know she's saying thank you. Now she said thank, right? I will take it. Yes, she's telling me thank you. Oh, thanks a lot, Devi. All good. I'm understanding her accent and being supportive to her. I'm not complaining. Hey, what is thank, Devi? Devi, I didn't understand your thank. What is the meaning of thank? I can make fun of her also. Now, thank God Devi put thank. I'm giving a live example how that is an accent of her, right? She raised hand. She want to counter me. Yes, Devi, counter me if you want. Can you unmute Devi, please? Devi is getting interesting now. So that's what happened. Now,
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for answering my question by taking your precious time, because it's very important. Do we need to learn the accent? Yes, we have our American accent, Britain, Australian, and so on. So do we need to learn any of such accent?
Devi have Devi's accent. Why go American and British and US?
No, sir. As there are several accents is there. So do we need to learn anything?
No. Why you want to be an American when you're an Indian? Be proud in what you are. Be proud in your English. Be proud in your accent. Okay. If Americans, okay. Let me make it this way. To Americans, you talk in American accent, but to Indians, why are you talking American accent?
Yes.
Don't have a complex. You're unnecessarily creating a complex in your head that American accent are better. You go and find out an Australian accent, you won't understand half the word. Because my first boss was Australian. I never had a clue, because I talk very fast. Australians are so slow in talking that you have to wait until when they say the next word, until they say no. So enjoy and love the accent which you have, as long as people, now I'm telling you, Devi, talking to you, you have a very decent accent. You have no problem with your accent at all. So why improve it if you don't have a problem? If you're going to America, go ahead and improve that, not a problem. Right? So they take you a part of the group. But then if you're going to America also, do you see Dr. Abdul Kalam when he's giving a public speech, an international speech, bringing a US accent, or having Dr. Abdul Kalam's accent there itself?
Yes, sir.
Now doubt is clear 100%?
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your accent.
I asked this question since you did your bachelor degree in US. I saw this in a pamphlet that so I asked this question to get a greater sense.
So doubt is clear now? Love your accent, love who you are. Stop trying to be US or Indian. Be the best Indian. If you're in Tamil Nadu girl, you can be. That itself creates a bigger impact to the society more than anything else. Right? And that's what your focus should be. Don't try to be US. Don't try to be North India or whatever. Don't try to be someone else. That's the joke I always say. Every fat girl is told to be thin. Every thin girl is told to be fat. Every fair person is told to be tanned. Every dark person is told to be fair. Every scar on the face is told to have a clear face. Every clear face is told to have a tattoo on the face. You're constantly told to be different, be that, that is better, that is better. Yeah, you are better. And the day you accept that, there is no problem, no issues, no worries which you're going to go through, and that will clear all your doubts. So live being Devi with the Devi's accent, and that's what you got to work on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All thanks to God. And thanks a lot for coming on audio and asking me this question. I really respect you all for coming on audio, because when you come on audio, that's when the fun is. My real session comes when you come on audio and counter me. I don't know, today's morning session, everyone countering, girls, boys versus, I was like, I was the only guy and the sir was the boy. Remaining all was a girls' school, right? So making them understand how it's all fair and all that. So it is very interesting. So the more you ask, the more it's interesting. I can go on talking as long as the questions come. But if there's no questions, my job gets done. And that's what I strongly believe. But if still there's more personal questions you have, you know my name. You can figure me out. You have my number, search for my number somewhere and message me on WhatsApp or whatever it is. Clear your doubts. That's my main objective. I do all these sessions as completely as giving back to the community. If you want to anywhere, any sessions, let me know. My answer is yes, provided it doesn't conflict with anyone, right? So my mission is to make this world positive, and I'll keep doing it in some way or the other. Yes, we picked up the topic based on the role of education. So what I clearly did is to make you understand what real education is. And slowly we moved offbeated the topic, but I offbeated the topic so that you all end up as good teachers. So once you've understood your good teachers, again, the education becomes stronger. And now you understood how to be a good teacher, automatically your education has started improving. And then now you know what the issues with pandemic is. So that is also clear. That will help you to get, but the main pandemic is within your family itself. If there's a loving family, no pandemic is in effect. Now the problem with most people is, oh, I'm locked down with the family, which I've been running away for such a long time during pandemic. Those people have to be locked down. Figure out their family first, then come outside. Maybe it's God's plan, I don't know. This lockdown is happening sometimes when I see the supreme plan of this lockdown, figure out your family. Then only I will remove this Omicron thing. Figure out your family, because corporates are trying to split your family. Corporates are trying to split, not corporates. Everyone wants to divide you. Now, discrimination. Now, there is a lot of people trying to bring this feminist and girl power. That is a big thing now. Everyone is after this girl power. Girl are already powerful. Well, why you have to make them more powerful? I don't understand. Girls themselves get exposed to a lot of negative, so they feel bad about it. So that is the other problem with it. But the problem of girl being powerful is why, you have this health drink, which has a girl's version. You have a traditional version. You have an adult version. You have a kid's version. If you go and look at the ingredients, everything is same. Just one or two things that moved up and down. The world is trying to split families so they can sell more products into that family. Who said girl? The pink is for girls and blue is for boys. Right? It is just made up by the system. right? So yeah, so that's it. I want to end up. I got a message that it's time to wind up. Yes, you have to follow the rules. So thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity, for giving this long talk. I hope I've explained. Thanks a lot for everyone's feedback which is coming by. I will hand it over to this to the person who's going to take it over from you.
Priscilla.
Priscilla, where are you?
Thank you, sir.
Priscilla, yes, she is here.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your words of enlightenment. It helped us to enhance the positive mindset in us. Your words enkindled us to motivate ourselves and schedule our minds to plan things and work. The way you spotlighted the importance of Indian education was impressive. The glimpse of other general content you shared with us was very beneficial in all aspects. You gave very profound and relevant explanations for our questions, and I assure that we will implement the ideas you instilled in us. Thank you, sir.
Well, all thanks to God, and thank you for giving me this opportunity also, right? Yeah. Priscilla, you can't come on camera again. You need to figure it out. I want you to come see. Now it's an opportunity to show yourself. So I don't forget at least, a few faces, right? Just joking. I'm just telling and making you a step to make you improve, right? Go ahead. Continue. That's it. My job is done. I log out, or there anything else?
Anything you want to ask? Anything, anybody? If you
else?
want to ask anything, sir is waiting. Participants?
No one else. I think everyone got bored of my talk, I hope. But anyway, it doesn't matter for me, right? I just love
Thank you
talking.
so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
The session was really wonderful. And we got more information.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity, for being a part of your crowd. So hopefully maybe sometime in future, I might come to the school or college and we'll have more better interaction. Now you all know me, right? So
thank you, sir.
That is much more, interactive from that way. But anyways, 2 hours we talked. It's a long time to talk. I hope I've given justice to all of you. If not, also, I maybe made some mistakes. I'm sorry for that, because there are senior people also, much more elder to me, also sitting in this platform. So if I've offended someone in some form or the, I'm very sorry for that. But it's that whatever I share is the truth, which I have seen life and people struggle through. So just told my point of view. But there is towards positivity, there are different ways to reach the same way. My way is just one way of getting into that, and that's all, right? Thank you, everyone. And thank you for all the audience.
Thank you all the participants. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. I will leave, or I want to stay?
Yeah, sure, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you.